this time, we have a couple really special speakers coming up. So it always feels a little weird to introduce Jamie because we all know him just as Jamie, and we know he's amazing at what he does, but and he never wants to talk about his accolades. So I'm going to do that even against his will. So Jamie has been the CEO of Virginia Country Club for the past 20 plus years, which means he started when he was 15, if you're doing math. You're welcome. He's a top 100 Golf Magazine and Golf Digest teacher. He's a member of the Long Beach Golf Hall of Fame, the SCPGA Hall of Fame, a 5-time SCPGA Teacher of the Year, a 2-time SCPGA Golf Professional of the Year. He consults for the men's and women's golf teams at Long Beach State. And he, along with Randy Chang, co-founded the California Teaching and Coaching Summit and heads up with Randy everything that goes into this event and the teaching committee. In addition to that, he's served on numerous other committees. He's especially passionate about teaching and coaching. If you weren't sure of that, you now know just by watching him the last couple of days. He has a special place in his heart for teaching and coaching his students, but also fellow teachers and coaches like us. Jamie has helped numerous PGA, LPGA Tour players, junior golfers. The list includes John Cook, Paul Goidos, Amy Alcott, Bill Haas, Max Homa, John Merrick, Pete Tomasulo, Craig Barlow, John Mallinger, Luke List, Mo Martin, Veronica Felibert, Jessica Corda, Nelly Corda, Francesca Molinari, and your 2021 PGA Tour Player of the Year and FedEx champion, current world number 4, Patrick Cantlay. Jamie is also our 2021 National PGA Teacher and Coach of the Year, Mr. Jamie Mulligan.
Sounding better on paper than in real life.
Woo-hoo. Okay, so joining Jamie on stage is our most decorated PGA professional, having won 18 PGA of America National Awards. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. He's a member of the PGA of America Hall of Fame. He has spent over 45 years as the head professional at Royal Oaks Country Club in Dallas, and is currently the professional emeritus and director of instruction there. Golf Magazine Top 100, Golf Digest Top 50. He's also a teaching editor. He teaches all types of players, but has always had a special passion for juniors, and he's fostered the growth of 16 NCAA All-Americans and 100 junior golfers that have received college scholarships. Not unlike what happens here at Virginia Country Club, he gets the opportunity to work with a young player and kind of watch their development all the way through junior golf, college golf, and onto the tour. And it's a really magical thing because then the players, as youngsters, get to play with mentors that are already out doing what these young players are hoping to do for a living. So it's a really neat culture. It helps everybody get better. I think that the gents will probably go into that. But you watch Patrick Cantlay and you watch John Cook, the same kind of dynamic. He's able to create a similar dynamic. Mr. Smith began working with the British Open champion and Ryder Cup hero Justin Leonard in early childhood. And the same is true for 2022 Masters champion and current world number 1, Scottie Scheffler. He's also helped Harrison Fraser, Chris Cox, Matt Weibring, John Rollins, Martin Flores, Colt Knost, Cody Gribble, Martin Laird, and Ryan Palmer. I'm sure there are many others. I scoured the internet, but I'm sure you'll hear more stories as time goes on. He was heavily influenced by Harvey Penick as an unbelievable golf pro, and we're so fortunate to have him here with us, Mr. Randy Smith.
Thank you. This it?
Yes, sir. Show is yours.
Hi, Robert.
Whoa, you changed it on me.
Switched you up.
Yep. Wow, Wilbur.
We're going to have some fun today. This is going to be lighter than we have been, and the information's been phenomenal, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with Randy and our buddy Mark, and we're going to have a good time. And we're going to make it more light. I think we have a a similar kind of background. Most tour players, coaches get tour players after they become tour players, and we have got to homegrown our tour players, and they've lived in a culture here, and we're on about 4 generations apiece. Randy's a bit older than me, but he's still not afraid to ride a scooter down the street. One of those scooters you can rent for, how much are those an hour?
Those go 35 miles an hour. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
And they have about got me caught up on where the parking brake or the brake is on it, and that didn't work out. But you can stop one of those scooters by going right into the grill of a Mercury. Slows it up every time.
So anyways, on what we're going to do, so we're on the President's Cup. We have a great time. The one good thing about the coaches is I think you can see it, we're all friends. And if we're not going to win the tournament, we're also rooting for our friends, players to win the tournament. And we have a great camaraderie. We have a lot of fun at night, and we have a lot of stories. So Randy and I are out, and we are, Randy's sitting on the back of Fred Couples' captain's cart. And Randy asked me, we're going to have one thing here, and this is, hopefully everybody will be okay. Randy says, who has the biggest cojones? And I'm like,
You can say that in California?
Probably not.
You can get away with that in Amarillo,
not.
but
yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so I think about it for a second, and I'm thinking, my mind goes like, I don't know, your guy, I don't know who it is, I go, the Wright brothers? Fred walks into the cart, and all of a sudden we go into this, and we'll try to reenact it for it, and Randy goes, I go, the Wright brothers, and Randy goes, go.
I tell you what, and then the other question would be, if they had the biggest cojones, which one of the two had the bigger of the two sets of cojones to go up and fly the damn thing in the first place?
Yeah, and I'm like, think about it. That time there was a push mower in the backyard, and they were mowing the lawn with a push mower, and then all of a sudden somebody came up with the gasoline motor, and they decided to put it on a fuselage and fly it? Like, you got to be kidding me.
And, and it was only natural, so we kind of figured out that was us. Right?
Yeah.
It's us.
Orville and Wilbur. So we got the whole golf coaches in the world calling us Orville and
Orville
Wilbur.
and
But this
Wilbur.
went on for like five times. But when you think about these guys, like, our job is just to hit a golf ball up in the air, to teach you to hit a golf ball up in there. These guys, we said they were going to fly. And it didn't work the first time. Then Randy goes, did they rock, paper, and scissors? Like, see what I'm trying to do and time 3?
Yeah, I think it goes back to one thing is, sometimes we make this golf thing into something that maybe it really doesn't need to quite go down that road, even though it's a very technical situation like an airplane. But there's a lot of fine points in our business that we started, by the way, the airplane business. We weren't Boeing, we were Wright. And by the way,
I see what you did there.
I'm Wilbur, he's Orville.
Yeah, I also get that mixed up with Orville and Wilbur, but
that could throw things off. But the playing golf is real similar to that. There's a lot of fine points that you have to do in golf that has to do with playing the game. It's kind of like in the airline business that we started. After we started the airplane, we started the airline business. Okay.
Yeah, they have private jets now.
They have private jets.
That's
all that
on
stuff
us.
we're responsible for. And one thing we got to do, going back to the fine points is like when I went to that airport back there in Dallas this morning, and I got my ass completely chewed out by a TSA agent, and she was just adamantly opposed to me putting my belt on the deal. And here's the belt. She took it and wrapped that thing around my suitcase, tied it in a double knot. And then I had a hard time pushing it into that machine there, and she screamed at me, "You can't do that until I'm ready." And so I dive in the machine, get halfway down there. I think we invented that too. And I pulled that thing back out, and I said, "Here it is. Now you tell me when you're ready to do anything you're ready to do. And I'll go in there and hold my hands up for the guy and the whole deal." And she goes, "Oh, this is so difficult." And I said, "It really isn't, ma'am. It's a suitcase. It's a belt. I got no shoes on. I can't run in these pads. I ain't getting away. You got a gun, I don't. It is not difficult. That's kind of where golf is. We got to polish up the fine points in golf, in my opinion. And one of those things, just like polishing up the fine points in the airline travel that we started, now customer service has gone to hell in a handbasket. We need to go fix it.
Saturday night of the Masters, you're on every TV set in the world. It's dark out. Your kid just tried to lose the tournament on Saturday evening, and then he hit like one of the best long irons I've ever seen hit in a major championship from a spot that you're not supposed to hit a long iron to a green that you're not supposed to hit a long iron at. And arguably, that could have been the tournament. And then they go out because he, like everybody does, you do a little warm down and you're just staying in your routine, and everybody thinks that you're working on his golf swing at that time. And, you know, the commentators are doing this, and Brandel's making the big bucks. Brandel's hair looked perfect, too. And they haven't laughed at anything I said for 3 days except for that, so don't feel bad about that.
But you go with this story because this is beautiful.
Yeah, anyway, so everybody's going, you know, oh, his backswing's too upright, or his leg drives too much, or, you know, his feet aren't on the ground, you know. Like, I remember Patrick telling me that, you know, in the video one time his foot looked like it was moving too much, and I go, the world number one is this high off the ground when he's hitting it right now, okay? It's not too high off the ground, you're fine and cool. So anyways, what were you doing at that time? I know the answer, but you're gonna love this. What were you doing with the phone?
Well, he still had, what was the 3-shot lead after having that nice bogey he made. That was a great bogey there on the last hole. And so he had to go to the press room and do press and all that kind of stuff. So Ted Scott, his caddy, and I, and the guy, we're the only ones there except for Hideki and his caddy are down at the other end under a light hitting balls. And we're the only ones there. So we sit down at the table out there, we're gonna wait for him. And it's getting dark, dark, dark. So we're sitting there, and the guy in the caddy room brings me a couple of cups of a libation, shall we say. I said, well, heck, yeah, might as well. So I had a couple, 3 libations there waiting. Yeah, just it did.
No wonder the plane didn't fly the first time.
And so we're sitting there and going through the deal, and Hideki's about finished. He's gone. They kept one set of lights on because Ted told him he's going to hit some wedges and wind down. That's exactly what it was. So we went out. Hi, Kip. Good to see you. How you doing, buddy? I know it, as well you should. But anyway, we sit there, and all of a sudden, here comes the tall guy. He comes out, and we get out there and get the wedges, you know, and he's telling stories. And Ted pulls out his phone, and we got all 3 of us in this telephone. We're looking at this, and this, and it's 3 of the funniest videos I have ever seen in my life they had on YouTube. And we're just laughing and pointing, and then Scotty's pointing, and then I start kind of getting an idea.
Time out right here. You're doing great. Think about what's going on, though, right? We got 200-300 coaches here, and the golf, you know, we talked a lot about media today at lunch with Mark and Randy. And the media's saying all this stuff that's going on, and we're trying to figure, like, what are they doing with their swing? Not doing anything with their swing at that time, you know, just chilling. Randy's having a beer, and they're watching funny videos, and they're not working on the swing, and then the kid goes and wins the biggest tournament in the world the next day.
So you didn't want to hear the punchline because you're running short of time?
No, well, shit, you're going on forever, and you're going to say the punchline anyways.
The point's real simple. The red light comes on. I
Yeah.
see the red light come on. We're pointing at this. I know they're in the middle of their show, so I'll look for the other red light. Sure enough, up there 300 yards away, you see the red light.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, boys, it's time to do some heavy-duty stuff here. We're going to throw a curveball at McGinley and Brandel. And Scotty's looking at me, and he's kind of starts giggling a little bit, and Ted's going, yeah, I got you. Says, okay, get that thing, turn it back there, baby. Says, when you start down, here's what we're going to do. Says, now you get it up, yeah, you know this up here, and boy, I'm looking official. I'm doing the teachy stuff right there. Straight left arm, keep your head down and follow through. Now here's where we're going to go. We want to go through this area right here, and I'm staring right at the camera. Right here. You got that? This is how we're going to go right here through this area. This is the bus to Denmark. Right here, big boy. You're going right through here. Now let's see what you can do. Scotty is sitting there, and you can see him on camera laughing so hard. and doing this. So sure enough, I get home just in time for the replay coming back on. McGinley comes back on, Brandel, they're talking. Brandel's just defending us like you can't believe. McGinley, I don't know what kind of coach that Randy Smith is. He says, the man hit one bad shot. He's got a 3-shot lead in the tournament. You don't need to rework a golf swing. What we were doing was exactly that. We knew what we were doing. He ran with it. Love Peter, he's a good guy. But the other thing is, Jordan's in there on the table getting rubbed down, and Scotty's got to wait till he finishes, so why not hit wedges? It was so serious. I mean, goodness gracious. Well, go ahead.
I love that.
I got lost. Oh.
Art or science?
Do what?
Art or science? Coaching.
What? Art or science?
Art, not heart. Art or science.
You can throw that in there too.
Heart too?
Yeah.
Heart, art or science?
Art or science.
There's a teleprompter up there that we're reading off, okay? So just bear with us, all
Well, I'll
right?
show you my Joe Biden imitation of doing. Oh, I forgot where I was. I forgot
You
I was in
can't do that.
California.
You can't do
that
here.
in California.
Yeah, but you can at Virginia Country Club. People still think one of the Bushes is president.
Are we going to start on politics? We
we're
can't
not
do
gonna
that.
do
I won't
that.
get to the airport.
Yeah.
No, I'm not looking at the teleprompter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, keep going.
Art or science? I think it's pretty obvious that science is playing a big role in golf, and it's been a helpful tool to help the art even get fertilized further. I think if you put a number on it, I think it is 75% art, 25% science, and the science is making the other 75% better. But when it
Great
goes
answer.
away from being art and becomes robotic, you're going to see players that are really going to light up the, what they call it now, the ABCYZ mini tour. You're going to see a lot of great swings out there. You're going to see great players playing on the biggest stages that have a certain degree of art, feel, and understanding what their club face is doing.
Would you agree with this statement that if you can be artist and scientist and blend it together so your player can just have a regular relationship with you, you have the chance to be a great coach?
Yes, you'd have a very good chance to be a great coach. And
You are. That's what you do, like almost better than anybody I know.
I have a track box. I understand.
What did you call it?
Well, track box, half the time it's the damn drama box.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
you can't open it. You just pull
That's
this
what's
down.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
No, but those things are they're very helpful, and they save you time in doing certain things. And, you know, I love it. Chuck Cook, a good friend of mine, dear friend, he got real excited when he heard I got a video system. I'm serious. This is 10 years ago. I got one of the video systems, you know, and I got a computer and all that. So you know how to run it? No, I can't figure out what to put the floppy disk in to play what's supposed to come up on the screen. You know, but that's kind of a joke that I'm not very technical. I'm really not. And the track box to me is a track box. It's going to tell me some information. I'm going to take that information. I'm going to impart it to the student. And the biggest part of that, I'm going to give to the students how far the ball flew. And that is the key that I take out of it most of the time. Now, I will say this about technology. You haven't brought up my teaching philosophy.
We're going to bring that up. It's up there in the teleprompter.
Oh, okay.
You can't see the teleprompter. You're
Well-
just going. I'm reading it.
Okay, good. Well, I'm looking for it. But anyway, you know,
You're not going to be able to see that far either.
there's certain things in today's game that the technology can really, really help. And number one is speed, and that is speed with the driver. It took me a few years to come around from, you know, swing easy, swing smooth, let's look pretty. I don't care what it looks like with the driver. I do not, as long as you understand what the club face is doing. Because I found this out that, you know, most people say, well, if it's club's moving faster, the miss is going to be bigger. I think that's where instruction comes in. We kind of get that miss down. But you want that speed up because the faster that head's traveling, you know, just look at Kip Peterball hitting the driver. I mean, the faster that head's traveling, the more stable it is in motion. That's what I came up with. Now, there's a bunch of scientists tell you it's not so, but I haven't been shot down on that. The faster the club head's moving, the more stable through impact I've seen.
I love that, and you preach that to me for a long time, and I've listened to you preach it to your coaches, to your students. What a pleasure it is to stand on a range with him when your guys got a chance to win a tournament. It's the last group, and I'm there, and he's there, and we're talking to our players, and we're doing our gig. I also say that word, it's our gig, and listening to him. It's just so regular, it's so normal, so every day at the office, which is so vital. And the way he goes about it is beautiful. Give me your 3 descriptions, driver, irons, and wedges, and share them with my friends.
Do you want me to give the long version?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, here's the long version.
Yeah.
Long version. Okay, if I'm working with a pretty good player, okay, I want them to hit the driver basically as hard as they can hit it. Okay? I don't want any bones breaking. I don't want them flying completely off the tee, but I don't want the driver moving as fast as you can. That's one. Number 2, you've got a whole bag full of irons in there that you're doing surgery with. So that's a big gear shift off that driver, isn't it? You've got this shot at this speed, this shot at this speed, this ball at this height, this move, this curve. You can do all kinds of things with various tools. They're doing surgery. And I like to see, this part is funny, I'd like to see low snap-hooked sand wedges from 105 yards in. That's my philosophy. We'll put it later.
And what he just described, and Mark and I will talk about this when we talked, is he'll talk about a different game than Mark and I grew up playing. That's what's going on. And Mark realizes as much as anybody, he knows it better than anybody, and this guy coaches it. Like, players are smashing their driver, the surgery with the iron's better than I've ever seen before, and most pitches are bumps that have some hook spin on it.
Absolutely, low snap hooks.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I think Mark can attest to this a little bit. I've seen some of his action over the years. And there was a guy played pretty good golf that we were talking about at lunch. And I heard this, and it really got my attention. And, you know, it was kind of a neat statement. Somebody was doing an interview with Tiger, and this was about, a year and a half ago, 2 years. They were doing some sort of interview, and they said, Tiger, what's your favorite shot in golf? And they all set up, boy, we want to see that. Now, he's going to say the stinger. He's going to be saying the stinger. That's going to, oh, yeah. He says, I love that low hooking sand wedge. Low hooking sand wedge.
Wonder where he learned that.
Yeah.
Art of the diver.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep, exactly right. Yep. Steve Winwood is, he was in Blind Faith.
Well, you know,
Cream.
you know, you
He's
bring,
in Blind Faith and Cream and Traffic.
he's pretty good.
Yeah, good.
But you know, on a serious note, I mean, we're talking about, you know, I'm talking about kids that you see, because most of my, well, I do most of my teaching really now is between the ages of 7 and 21, right in that area. And I love when a little kid comes over with a lot of talent. Jamie, you've seen it a million times. Boy, he's got all the talent in the world. You watch him doing the next coming to Tiger Woods. Look at that. It's going to be, ooh, that 7-iron's real pretty. He clips it real nice. And say, here, hit me in your mind what a full sand wedge is. Give me a yardage you like to hit your sand wedge. No, say it's a 15-year-old kid, and in no way, shape, or form he can hit a 60-degree, 58-degree, 9,500 yards. There's no way he can do it. And what comes out of his mouth first? Oh, it's not a lob wedge. It goes out there 85 yards, 90. No, it doesn't. It may once out of a million, it may go up downwind, hit, and then bounce on the green and run around someplace, and then you go, oh, that went 85 yards. Give me a merit badge. That kid's not going to last real long. You know, that thing has got to come out. So now, let's think about it. I'm into the wind 20 miles an hour right now. I want you to hit a full sand wedge. How far are you going to hit it? Well, it's into the wind. I'm going to hit it 80. I said, get after it. That ball blows up, and he tries to hit the next one harder. It blows up higher. He hits the next one higher, and it just keeps coming. It's coming back to you. Don't you understand what to do here? That's not going to work. If we can switch this thing over, and you see how much it's going to help you play golf, and help your scoring, and help you on your high school golf team, would you be in on that? I said, yeah, I would be. The minute you can get that kid to understand the squaring of the golf club instead of the digging front edge dig and lift up with heavy duty speed, you get that kid to do that right there, you've done them a service. And I would encourage every person in this room to do what this man does, what Kip does. By God, get that thing to where you can control it. Controlling contact on a sand wedge is paramount in playing great golf. You know what? It gives you a second degree of control if you can control the sand wedge through impact and its impact. You can then control the green that you're hitting at. And once you do that with a kid, that's 4 to 5 shots a round. Y'all become the greatest instructors that ever walked the planet with something like that. I'm serious.
We are going to come back to that with our next guest later because we've seen a real live experiment work on that with somebody. So when Mark gets up here, we'll come back to that very point.
Was that what y'all were going to talk about?
No, we got more stuff. You haven't stolen any of our thunder.
Did he bring his green jackets?
Mark? No.
He didn't. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
No, that's what. Have you worn Scott's green jacket?
Yes.
Have you?
I got in
have you-
big trouble with the Augusta peoples, Mr. Ridley and his crew.
Have you spilled any Red Man on it?
Red Man. Who would chew that foul stuff?
Have you spilled any Bud Light on it?
Yes.
Guilty as charged?
There is a brown stain right there under the crest.
Yeah. Okie doke. Justin Leonard, if you and I were having a beer and you knew that we were just at salads, and so we were gonna just have a couple bites of our salad and we were gonna go through more players than Justin Leonard. Tell me about Justin Leonard.
Second smallest junior that became a major winner that I've seen. He was just a shade bigger than Scotty Scheffler at 7. He's a shade bigger than Scotty Scheffler when he was 8. And that would get him up to the size of a den caddy.
Of a what?
Den caddy, you know them things that say, who's your sponsor? Titleist or somebody?
Oh,
You know,
a den caddy.
Yeah, den caddy. You put the
Everybody
balls in.
everybody we've had the last 3 days had an unbelievable accent. They flew here from Zimbabwe or Saudi Arabia or Ireland or something like that, and we can understand every word. You just flew here from Texas, and I don't even know what you're saying.
All right. Let me put on a different accent for you, okay? This is somewhere between Jersey and South Carolina. The den caddy, he's not a very tall person. He wasn't the most athletic kid because he was too small to be athletic in anything but soccer. And he was quick and he could move and all these kind of things. He got into golf and he finally, Scotty went ahead of him when he was about 10 years old. It's the smallest, weakest, littlest, tiniest kid. Mark, you know all about that. But he had a competitive thing in his head and an intelligence about playing the game at a competitive level that I don't know if I've ever seen before. He was playing with kids when he was 14, 15 years old. He could drive it maybe 220, 225. If he got it on a runway out at LAX, he could do that. And yet he could do things with a 3-wood, a hybrid, and a 1-iron of all dang clubs. How did I ever let that kid hit that? But he owned it. He could hit it as close as the big hitters could hit their 9-irons and wedges. And he knew that that's where he had to get good. He had to get good with putting. He had to get good with the short game. He was smart enough to know that his 5'6" dad and his 5'6" mama, he probably didn't have a big shot at being big. And if he wanted to compete in this sport, he had to take care of the fine points. And I go back into that thing I said a while ago from 100 yards, 105 yards in. This is where we spent a great deal of time, and I know he spent a great deal of time on his own, getting his wedge game to the point where it was absolute a weapon. And by doing that and using the strategy of playing golf courses and getting around golf courses, he became one of the greatest players to play the game. phenomenal.
If homework assignment, everybody ready for a little homework? Google, YouTube, don't go to my Instagram page, but Google or YouTube Justin Leonard's Open Championship speech. And, we have an Open champion here with us, but it arguably could be the best speech that I've ever heard anybody do after winning an event. It's phenomenal. And it reeks of intelligence, love of the game, that he just won maybe the biggest golf tournament in the world, and what an amazing coach that he has, and how that he was mentored to be not only one of the greatest players, now there's a good chance that he turns out to be maybe one of the best broadcasters as well, too, because he'll do it that seriously, correct?
Well, yeah, but a lot of things can change over the next few weeks. But, and he's now playing again. And it's fun to get those phone calls again. He came in, we looked at some stuff before he went back out. He's hitting the ball further than he ever did during his career. And because he kept himself in good shape, He
looks really young. He's 50 and he looks 35.
You bet. But
which is different than Randy and I. Randy's 70 and I'm 60, and combined we look about 312.
That's not right, because I've looked up to him, as a mentor for a number of years. When I was in high school, I always thought, yeah, Jamie and Jamie.
We'll
be here every night, 10 o'clock.
We're paying you for this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. He tells me the other day, he goes, he calls me just out of nowhere, him and Scotty, they call me up, and Randy goes, "You're going to be cool if I spike my hair and wear Lululemon, aren't you?"
I honestly was going to do that. I really was. And then you said you're going to have a case of Bud Light up here with some Red Man. I said, well, I can't outdo that. I was going to get one of those crepe shirts with no collars.
Yeah,
right?
Here's a California Bud Light right here.
Oh, thank you. That'll work just fine. Appreciate that. Good.
We're down to water now. It's California.
ones,
$7 for gas here.
I don't want to buy y'all's gas. It's very expensive. I'm trying to get my pants to do that. The only thing that get my pants to do this is static electricity. It's the same thing that gets my hair to do this, is static electricity.
Okay, we could get in the wrong spot for a while. Same thing. That is like the hippest thing that I've ever seen you have, actually, the fact that you can see your ankles, and your socks match too.
Well, my ankles are getting a little ashy. I haven't been in my shorts in a week or so. I teach in shorts.
You are such a hipster.
Yes.
Okay. Same question on Ryan Palmer. Ryan Palmer last night got inducted into the Texas Golf Hall of Fame. And his coach was there, and his coach made the effort to come here early in the morning after going that induction, which I know meant so much to him. And I'll tell you what, Ryan Palmer, that dog can hunt. Like, when I first saw it, I'm like, I don't know. And he just keeps going and going and going. And arguably, close club face guy, shaft lean, a lot of what you've heard there. Beautiful pace, beautiful tempo. When the wind's blowing, I love when the wind blows because I think it separates. He's really, really, really impressive. Nice work with him. Talk about him as well, please.
Well, Ryan, it's not bad for a 46-year-old. He's the longest he's been. He's got probably the straightest he's been. Everybody looks at the shut face, which it's a little better. But we're not giving much out on form points. We get a lot more for paychecks.
Will you repeat that?
You don't get, form points don't equate to checks and FedEx Cup points and things like that. He's a little bit shut up here, and but funny thing is, when we first started working, he hit low snap hooks and could never play Hilton Head. I mean, you go to Harbor Town, he could, no way to start it on the golf course, couldn't play it. Big low snap hooks, this is forever ago, 12, 14 years ago. And I said, do you want to be a little more multi-purpose in your ball striking? He said, yeah, because this isn't working. I said, good. And it took about 5 months for him to really, before he did it on the golf course, to hit a cut. And the dangest thing, the cut came out of the same position his draw did. It's just amazing that the draw would drop down a little bit underneath and then work over and drive the ball spin down this way. And by up in this position to doing a cut, the shaft shallow down here scared me to death, but with his rotation and turn, all of a sudden the path went left. And once he got his path left, the face was too square. It was hanging over there to the left. I said, now what would you do if you had to slice a golf ball around a tree out of that square stance? Would doing this crap we're doing? I said, you know it's not crap. You just saw your ball go up twice as high as it's ever gone. So it's a good point, I'll do it again. I said, here, I want you to do this time. With that shut position, the better rotation that he had to do, or he couldn't hit it on the map trying to do what we were doing. I said, I want you to run the heel of that club as deep in the ground as you can and keep turning as far as you can. He says, the heel? Yeah. Is there a heel on those clubs? Oh, God, yes. These are, well,
those are yours.
This is your junior set.
No, those are yours. Those were your college golf clubs.
Oh, I didn't know they could ship them in. Anyway, y'all see this little area right here?
The fact that you could shoot in the 60s with these is impressive.
Well, I mean, I played with these. They work pretty good. But this little area right here is a fun area of a golf club. There is a reason Lee Trevino. Can y'all hear me without this damn mic? Y'all okay? I need a level R. Because, thank you. All right, you see this back here? There's a reason. Mark, you remember some of Trevino's club. There wasn't nothing back here. He took all this off. Why is that? So it doesn't hang when you go through when you hit the cut. So we did some adjustments to some of his clubs, but explain to him that if this, I can yell, good God. This thing is coming down. If we can get this little trencher right here on an iron shot, boom, into the dirt and keep on turning, you're going to hit a cut. He says, you want me to do this? I said, well, it'll feel like that. So the first one, he goes like this, comes over, my dang path goes way out here, comes back this way. It's the only way you can introduce this. I mean, that's the only way you can do it. You can't. Try doing this from a shallow position and see if you can really hang the heel up. It's not easy, but from here, you get the heel in the dirt and you keep turning. He had cut and said, you know, that felt really good. He says, but you know what? This isn't that hard. Some already do. I said, you do? Yeah, all my short to mid fairway bunker shots. All my short to mid fairway bunker shots, that's what I do. I get the heel in, and I feel like the club's opening up. I said, well, can you do it off the dirt? 1 week later, he hit a cut at Colonial on the 14th hole, faded it right back in. He dropped his club and did this, and from there, he took off, you know.
I love that story. How about that?
Are we going to do the putting thing? Ooh, that's pretty. I like that.
Yeah, you can hold on to that one. Take your mic back.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna learn you something right now because you said I had to give you one nugget. So here's your nugget.
And I think for a lot of you here too, like I love the Golf Machine book. I love it. I've never taught one moment out of the Golf Machine. When you think about what we said there. Like for me, it's the math of what goes on with the game, and you have to know that, and we have to know that. When we grew up, probably, and I think Mark will agree with this, the best driving range player that's ever played golf on the PGA Tour was Mac O'Grady. Beautiful driving range player. Won 3 tournaments. You know, we've known Mac since we were very, very young. We knew Mac when Mac's name was Phil, which is a true story. And so Mac watched me teach a lot, and he had kind of run into it, and he's been really, really kind with me. And I know some of you have had your ons and offs with Mac, but he's been gracious and kind with me forever. I haven't seen him in a long, long time. I also hope that he's doing well. I have run on the hill with Mac before. He's a freak. I used to run that hill up in the desert. And I was making somebody's left wrist really pretty at the top of the backswing, and they were striping it time after time after time. And the club face was a little bit shut. And he said, that looked great. That was an unbelievable session with that guy, and you're doing really great. And everybody that you teach looks really, really pretty. And I thought that was a big compliment. But then, as Mac would do, he said, I want to tell you something. if somebody can control the club face from a shut position and they're super athletic and they can get out of the way, and I don't care how bent and how shut it is, allow them to do that. And I kind of scratched my head at that a little bit. He was working with Chip Beck at the time, and Chip was kind of doing that and playing nicely. But I was kind of thinking about that. And then I kind of thought, one time I asked Nicholas, who was the best player that you ever saw as far as hitting it? And he said Lee Trevino. And then I thought about Lee's wrist like that. And then Max said, yeah, and if the guy is an unbelievable athlete, like could play center field for the Yankees or something like that, certainly don't do that. Well, that was like 1985 or 86. So Mac O'Grady basically told me who Dustin Johnson was before Dustin Johnson was born. And then I would say now when we're standing on the range, there's 144 players. You know, when we're doing our warm-ups, there's maybe 50 or 60 guys out there. 35 of them are shut tendency, and their teacher's been wise enough not to change that because they can handle that. Now, there's some issues with that, and you better be able to get out of the way, and you better be able to hold face. What he's done with Ryan, which is unbelievable, is he's done it from a pace thing where Ryan looked like he didn't know where he was going with the club. Now Ryan's club looks like he's doing surgery with it, and it's going farther than ever. Great job, and that's one for you as far as changing shut face if you think you just want to do it.
Well,
This one's louder.
okay, going back to Ryan's deal, one thing with him that he does not lack is the rhythm. His golf club looks like it is being swung. It never looks like it's being slapped or hit. You know, he swings it and it's being swung. And it's being swung at a high dollar speed. And that's the cool thing about being able to take somebody, a shut-face hooker. Shut-face hookers. Why did you raise your hands back there when I said that? Anyway, shut-face and low hookers.
You're good right now. This is the best that I've seen you in a while. Yeah.
I may go teach you.
Yeah, you're good. You know what? You're so good right now. I'm going to stop you right there. But
Okay.
don't forget what you're going to say. We're going to pay Randy, okay? I got to pay Randy because he wouldn't take any money.
Pay me what?
What? We're going to pay you.
What?
We're going to pay you. You said you do this for checks.
I wanted to, oh my Lord, what's this?
Irish cider. Not for you. Bud Light.
Oh my word, this is lovely.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Thank you
Way
so
to get
very
those books out
much.
of the way. They're not that important.
Yeah.
This,
Cheers.
cheers.
Yeah. When I invited him, he goes, are we going to have a beer? And I said, I got a busy day, and I got to be, articulate. And he goes, are we going to have a beer? I'm not coming, so is it okay? Yeah? We good with that? Hey, Tom. Oh, forget it. You're retiring.
I've seen Tom in action, but that was 40 years ago.
Tom doesn't do anything bad for his body. His body is a temple.
As a temple.
Yeah.
That is true.
Only guy I've ever seen put Fritos on a roast beef sandwich.
He'll do that.
He'll do that.
I want to tell you something again about this.
I interrupted you. Sorry.
No, this
Yeah.
is for a good reason.
I'm going to put your beer up here, okay, so you don't spill it.
Do you have a coaster?
It's Virginia Country Club. We refinish the wood every Monday.
Oh, okay. A coaster would have been nice. Remind me of that TV commercial. But anyway, where's the napkin that's supposed? Okay, anyway, we're back on this cut thing. Very serious. How many times as instructors, you got a lot more man hours than I've got, okay? Watching people hit golf balls. Do you change the shut face if they can't rotate it? Ah, heard somebody say that. What? Okay, where are we going to go? What are we going to do?
What you going to do? What you going to do? This is the perfect question. Will you change the shut face if they can't rotate? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's Kip's. That's Kip's. There's good shut faces
You
and
can
bad
tell by
shut
the
faces.
look.
What? Keep
That's
going.
your kid?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a kid that was that good looking and nice. Yeah, well, I didn't know he was that
Have you-
nice looking, and nice person and all that. You know, Kip is one of the meanest people I've ever
He's
met.
very mean. He's very mean, yeah.
Just such a bad personality. And
Right now we got a golf ball that's going like 40 yards left, okay? So we're trying to either fix that or something, okay?
And it's going low.
Yeah, it's going
How you
low.
gonna get them out of it? And, you know, yes, ma'am. We're coming back.
Switch them to a cupped position at the top?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could switch them from shut to cupped. And then you're going to fix the left arm where it's got to go, and what the path of the club's going to do back here to get in that cup position that Freddie Couples went out here to do. Isn't that cool how he could go out and then cup it, and then I love watching that swing. There's a lot of things that go into it with where the arm's got to be and things like that, yeah. But you know what I'd do? If they, huh?
Move the ball forward, move the ball back.
Ooh.
Aim right?
Let's just throw some stuff on the wall and see if it sticks, okay? People love that for $200 an hour.
No, this is kind of unique because if they just really can't do it.
Bud, you're on your own. I'm gonna sit back here and drink my cider. Okay.
Hey, I'm right with you. But the thing about it is, I think that is a hell of a valid point. If I move it back, I'm out here, and that scares me to death. Unless you got a 16 handicap, do that back foot reversal swing, then it gets good. But on a pretty decent player, you can almost train some rotation. I've got 2 or 3 fake hips, and I can start to rotate if you put my golf ball up and closer to me. If it's up, see, the golf club swings on a circle. You know, we got a lot of people think it swings in a straight line. I used to think that, and then I kind of got caught up on that. But it swings in a circle. If you can move it up on the circle, then mentally, they've got to get over there and chase it. Now that ball may start out a little bit left, but I think they're going to get the club back to a more neutral position. It'll go back up in the air. I would vote for this and then train from there, from an up ball position, and they see a different ball flight and they go, God, that'd be cool if I can get it on the target. So maybe you just turn your ass a little faster. Just get out of the way a little faster. David Duval said it best. He was the #1 player in the world, and he just won over at, he won the Open Championship. He was #1 in the world. And they did an interview with him. And he says, I'm on it right now. He says, what are you doing that's so marvelous the way you're swinging the golf club? He says, well, I tell you what, I just put it up here. I turn that thing back. I keep turning to the left until I can't turn to the left anymore. And I can hit it as hard and straight as I've ever hit it in my life. I love it, I love it, I love it. 12 months later, he was in some other deal working on a new golf swing. We never saw that same player again. You know, there ought to have been a lawsuit filed on David Duval for robbing us of what he was putting out. Because, you know, most of you kids in here weren't alive when he was out there doing this, but, you know, he did some marvelous things. And I don't think he did it off his back foot, okay? He was probably up here, a little bit closer, a lot more rotation, keep turning left. Mark, wasn't his club face a little bit shut back in the day? Yeah, the best ball striker you've ever seen. There's also another lawsuit that needs to be filed.
If you,
I'll catch up.
no, I know you do that. I'm worried about you rotating and spilling that thing on my pretty jacket.
That is so good.
Do you wanna?
Yeah.
You wanna touch it?
Yeah.
I thought you would.
Whew.
Yeah.
Genuine Naga.
You can rent anything you want.
You got it. Have to have it.
Anyways, on that, there was a lot there. This is a dinner conversation for us normally too, what we're doing like all the way through dinner and stuff like that, which I think the subtlety and the coolness of that is like why we've seen some brilliant technology and a bunch of way to do that. Like you got to relate to people and you got to talk to them like that. And, you know, I've hit balls with Mark and watched Mark hit balls after a major championship before and just gave him an idea or two. And we were just talking about life and what goes on, and I think that's a big part of what goes on. But I think what he said there is pearls of real wisdom, and we are now on the road seeing the golf ball hit farther and higher and straighter than we've ever seen it before, and the players are better. The quarter girls that we coached, they hit it farther than the gentlemen that we coached in the 80s and the 90s. Nelly Corda's driving distance would have been more than John McComish, who was the longest hitter in 1981 on the PGA Tour. So if you think about it, the game's changed and the players they're letting it fly and they're doing it really athletically, and they all look different. Let's go into different too. How about this for what we do? The greatest honor, 18 national awards, which is pretty unbelievable. 18 national PGA awardees, in front of whoever else was in front of him by 15, which is great. But those are subjective. What isn't subjective is he coaches the world #1 player who he's been coaching since he was a baby, that people don't know won 90 junior golf tournaments when he was a kid. And he had arguably one of the best years that anybody's had in recent times, and he is a lovely individual, and they have a beautiful relationship. And he's a lot of fun, and he gets it, and he's going to be around for a long, 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 long time. And I'm so proud of you for the work that you've done with him. It's so fun to watch. I love hearing about what's going on, and congrats, buddy.
Well, thank you. I did.
You spilled some of your beer.
I'm ahead of you now.
Yeah.
I didn't hit one of those shots, to be honest with you. I'm sure as hell glad he did, though. And, I can sit there and, that's really nice. Those are some nice things. But I'm going to tell you, this guy right here, though, he just happens to be the national PGA teacher.
They've heard it like 33 times.
Yeah. Well, I can say that. I can say it because I think it is absolutely unbelievable. And you tie that with, what are you, the COO of this country club?
I think you just gave me one more office than we have, but it's
CEO of,
yeah, there you go.
CEO
Yeah.
of this operation, basically director of fun, runs the whole thing, caters all the weddings, got more miles on his Advantage card than anybody within 700 miles of here. Still standing upright, has total energy, but the beautiful thing is he has total smile, total make you feel good. And I would encourage everybody in this room to really take a page out of this man's playbook. If you make people, when they come to a lesson...
You're going to make me cry, all right?
I know. When you come to a lesson like with Jamie, say, I can only envision one. He comes out, I'm going to feel very look forward to kind of situation. I'm looking forward to being with Jamie because I'm going to walk away from there. I'm going to probably have my ass chewed a little bit. I'm going to probably have a little bit of work to do, but I'm going to feel damn good about what I did. And as instructors, this is a people business. It's not blowing blue sunshine up their butt lesson business. I hate to say it quite that way, but that's the thing. Well, you're doing just wonderful. No, you're not. You suck. This is terrible. There is nothing wrong with letting somebody know that, unless you're applying for the job at that facility as the new director of golf or whatever, and you're doing, you might have to tone it down a little bit, but if they're going to pay for it, they need to know they got pushed a little bit. Want you to do. They need to know that you believe there's a chance you can do this. You mean I'm working here, this person's got more faith in me than I've gotten myself? I better catch up to his faith. Watch this. And then you become not only instructors, you become confidants, and you talk about repeat business. How many calls do you get from, up and coming teachers and everything? What do I have to do to grow my book? I love that question. How do I grow my book? How do you grow your book, Jamie?
Yeah, just by being great with your people and realizing that it is a people business. And the client's really smart. And if you build it, they will come. And there's only one thing that matters in the game. There's only one number that matters. And Mark and Randy and I talked about this at lunch. It's the score. And you're responsible for the wheel that makes the score, which is mind, body, and spirit. And we get so focused on what the ball's actually doing, but for
when Patrick got on his run last year, or Nellie was at the end of her year on her run, or Randy, what he did with Scott, you're saying very little. You're looking at things on the phone that make you laugh, and you're saying one or two little mantras, and they're on their mantra. And then when it's all over, everybody pats you on the back and tells you great stuff. But at the end of the day, the adulation portion of it goes away forever, but the quest of working on it to be a champion every single day in what you do so they can be a champion when they grow up, that's the cool part of the sport.
Love that. Yeah, I love that.
Scotty Scheffler.
I've got to run one thing by you.
He's a big 6'4" guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Probably, I guarantee you, just like he'll probably fire me the next year.
Yeah, he's playing
He
pickleball.
can fire me, but
He's playing pickleball right now.
all the time.
Yeah,
He can fire me, but he ain't gonna get rid of me.
yeah.
You know, so that could very well happen.
Same as our relationship.
You know how it is. Can't fire your brother. The situation with him, I'm in a little bit of hot water. I'll be up front with you. I don't know if it's hot water, but I'm not giving him much to work on. I'm kind of right now giving him a little of this and that. You're doing good. Let's work on this. Let's get the irons dialed in. New set, new grooves, stuff like that to start the year out. But I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah, you do a little bit.
Hold on a second. If anybody in the back room watches George Hauser hit a tee shot there, that's the guy that's Rodney Dangerfield in the thing. Everything you learned in the last couple days will be erased, so don't do it, okay? Yeah, all right. No. See, no, yeah. No, that's not him. That's not him, but we can't watch this guy, seriously. First of all, what? What? Yeah. This is amazing.
Is this him?
We might as well watch, right? Yeah. This is too good, right, Joseph? Whit? This is vintage, right? Can somebody film it? You'll have plenty of time before he hits it.
Don't talk to him, it's in pre-shot. Survey says.
This is amazing.
This hurts.
This is amazing.
This hurts.
Everybody, we got to worry about him. Oh, please. Come on. Here's the one that you're gonna. Here's the one that you're gonna love. I'm in a limousine years ago with this guy. His nickname is the King, right? So I'm in a. Hey, Lou, Chris, Hauser just hit it, and we all watched him. Unbelievable. Anyways, I'm in a limo with this guy going to a party at some baller that we know's house, and he starts grinding me and said, you can teach all these people to play golf, and you can't teach me to play golf, and I'm your buddy. You've known me forever. What's the matter with you, So I'm like, George, and he's grinding me, and we're driving up to the party, and finally his wife goes, leave poor Jamie alone, like we're going to a party. Like, you've been on him for 40 minutes, we're in traffic, leave him alone, we don't want to talk about golf anymore. And he goes, well, let Jamie just summarize it for me, just to tell me what's really up. And I go, George, do you really want the truth? And he said, yeah, I want the truth. And I said, you're the worst player at Virginia Country Club. 3 hours later, his wife goes, I've had enough of this party. We've had a lot of fun. Let's go to a nice, quiet place and have a drink and go home. We're in the limo. But I can't find George. So I go looking for George, and George is talking to this guy that's about as big as Justin Leonard. What did you call him, a den caddy?
Tall as a den caddy.
Tall as a den caddy. That's where they put the golf balls, in the den caddy. So anyways, I see George, and he's talking to this guy. The guy's got beautiful hair, and they're going back and forth. And I go, George, Kimberly wants to go. He ignores me. I go, George, Kim wants to go. He ignores me again. I go, George, we have to go. And all of a sudden, George goes, oh, pardon me, so-and-so, this is my friend, Jamie Mulligan. The guy's like, Jamie Mulligan? Oh, my God. He said, you're the guy that's going to teach me how to play. You're like a savant, I hear. I'm like, no, that's a different Jamie. He goes, no, you're the master teacher. You're the guy that's going to teach me how to play. And I said, no. And by the way, I'm just George's driver, and we have to go right now. His wife's impatient, and George is wet. And he goes, no, please help me. And I said, just tell me what your problem is. And he goes, I'm the worst player at Bel Air Country Club.
Small world, isn't it?
Way too ironic. Anyways, that's George. Let's give George a hand, okay? Yeah. Okay, we're going to end with you telling about Scotty Scheffler, then we're going to bring
Real
my
quick.
other pal up here, okay?
Real quick. The thing about it is right now, and I've had everybody ask me, so what are y'all working on? Okay, he's won 4 tournaments. There's a lot more he could have won. And he is number 1 in the world. He's kind of like that pitcher for the last 8-9 months that's got a no-hitter going through 8 innings. And he comes in off the field and goes down to the end of the bench. You think it's time for me to go down there and talk about right arm position, attitude, and what we're going to do a little differently? Nothing until something. I'll answer questions. We're not going into heavy duty stuff. Keep working on your body stabilization, get you a little workout, get your pickleball game in good shape. World-class pickleball player. World-class. Dunk a
Who's
basketball.
better, Jordan or Scotty?
Oh, Scotty by far.
Okay.
By far.
I'm sure
But
Jordan will agree with that.
my point being in that is if you've got somebody that's doing really good, a lot of times we try to get them to, they can do this, they can do that. We pile one more brick on there, we break them down two or 3 steps lower than they started. So sometimes that's where you get to the encouraging deal. That's when you start taking the swing thing that they're working on and get them on the golf course or on the range and start creating golf shots. Up, down, left to right, low. Take 10 yards off a 9-iron. Okay, I want to see you trap a 5. Give me 5 more yards out of your 5, but it better be coming in right to left. Boom, check, and we're going to keep it under the wind. We're going to elevate the 3-wood today. Let's get the 3-wood up in the air a little bit. You've been hitting this 3-wood on the ground. We've done everything. We got the loft up to 28, and you still are on the ground. We're going to get that thing up. Have them hit shots. Create shots that they'll use on the golf course that make their handicaps go down. You may have them hitting it really strong. You may have them driving it good. You may have them chipping it good. Everything's pretty good. But let's take them to the next step by getting some creativity, some ball movement, height differences, things like that, instead of sitting there beating that old horse on the backswing and playing and in to out and all that other track box stuff. I'm done.
That was lovely. Think about it. World number 1. And in my humble opinion, as I told you, it sometimes isn't so humble, but I'm pretty sure on this one, this is what you want to be when you grow up, Mr. Randy Smith.
Love you both. What are you going to do with that?
We are going to ask you, because we haven't asked you much, 15-minute break or a couple-minute break, and we just roll right into our next one. Couple minutes? Everybody's good with that? Cool. Give me a couple minutes, because we need 2 minutes, and then we're going to start. But when we come back, let's not do this where we have to quiet everybody down, not to sound like your teacher. Let's just come right back in, and we'll roll right into the next one, which is going to be very special. Randy, thank you very, very much.
Oh, thank you. There you go. I'm going to put this up.
Okay, I'll take it.